Hello, good evening. Warm welcome to the Knowledge Series where Asianet News and Amrita School of Business under Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham bring on board experts and the who's who from the academia and industry to share their perspectives about matters pertinent to your career and growth. I am the moderator of the series and I do hope that you know me by now. My name is Shikha Singh. Well, to all the young minds that are watching us right now, I'm sure that the events of 2020, 2021, and now even the current year, as we talk about and as we transcend into, it has transformed the relationships between customers and companies, employees and employers. It forced a reckoning, new needs, new behaviors, and new expectations all at the same time. Well, there's no going back and there's, of course, no slowing down. We are all unstoppable, right? Well, at this business management webinar, let's talk about the trends in HR today. Let's learn how the workforce can be empowered, how to become an agile workplace and beyond. For instance, talking about the e-signatures that has helped HR departments succeed in today's remote-centric work environment, providing 100% digital experience that helps in speed hiring, onboarding as well, while boosting the employee productivity. So in a way, from boardrooms to workstations, marketing to IT, organizations are focusing on shared visions for success. Well, that's the target. And as far as our experts are concerned for the day today, you will hear from a powerful trio, may I admit. You know what? Victor Hugo, one of the greatest and the best known French writers, once said that when a woman is talking to you, listen to what she says with her eyes. So it looks like you all would have to be a little more observant on the eye front, especially today. Our first guest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, would be, let's welcome her with a good round of cheer as I am clapping. Let's welcome, put your hands together as you are gradually going to see her right live on the screen, Dr. Anusree P.S, Assistant Professor, Amrita School of Business, Amritapuri. Hi, Dr. Anusree, very good evening to you.
I'm sure. Very good evening, one and all. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing?
Great.
Great. Good to see you and the smiling you. So, Dr. Anusree, there's a little thing, I'm not sure if you watched our past webinars, but I'll just take you through a little rule that we have, very lovingly sort of decided, which is, of course, our guests in the past, they have been rapid and there has been good fire in the rapid fire round that we conduct. So I hope you too live up to the legacy and you would be quite a sport as I'm just going to ask you a question.
All right, please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So the first thing that comes to your mind should be your answer. So let's see how you fare at this one. And I'm sure everybody watching out there are, waiting with some bated breath to hear the experts answer to my questions as I put them in a little spot out there. So Dr. Anusree, I'm going to ask you, if you were to give one book to all your friends, what would it be?
One book. Okay, I would not give a book written by an author. Instead, I would recommend giving a diary. The reason for that is that a person can himself write his or her own future if he has proper diary. That's what would be my answer.
Dr. Anusree, I think it couldn't have been said more beautifully, and coming from you, I think this was such a creative one. So round of cheer. Thank you so much for a beautiful one.
Thank you.
We wish you have a good time with us today. Thank you so much. We'll have you around.
Thank you very much. Hope you have the same good time.
Thank you. All right, with that, this time you all have to put your hands together as we now welcome our second guest of the evening. Let's put our hands together for Shalu Priya, Senior HR Director, Optimix LLC. Hi, Shalu. Good evening.
Good evening, Shikha, and good evening to all.
A very good evening. You look lovely, and I'm sure you were backstage, so you already know about the rapid fire round.
Yes, I heard Anusree taking up the questions. I'm all set.
Great. So it looks like I have some power with the ladies today. So great. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Shalu, tell us what is, and maybe it's just very helpful for all of us that way. So tell us, which is your most go-to stress buster?
My most go-to stress buster is, nothing more than, just reading a book. I mean, if I just feel down or I'm stressed and I don't know what to do to change my mind, I just, pick up one book and, I spend at least an hour so that my mind is fresh and I have some new thoughts.
Truly an intellectual that way, and I think this is such a lovely way of busting that stress, which I'm sure every one of us experience. So all right, I'm sure everybody is noting on a new way to sort of manage the stress bit. But thank you so much, Shalu, for joining us, and very well done at the rapid fire round. Thank you. With that, let's invite our final guest of the evening. Of course, I'm sure a lot of you know her already. We will have the HR head from WTI Cabs joining us now, Sunanda Rao. Warm welcome.
Thank you so much, Shikha. It was lovely having you in past as well as now. And now I'm really scared between Shalu and Anusree that what is the question that you're going to put me?
You all are nailing it, but of course we don't know yet who's going to sweep the hamper. But okay, guess you have raised already. So here comes your question. Tell us, Sunanda, if you had a time machine, which part of the history would you go back to and why?
Honestly, Shikha, in case if I would have the time machine, I would not like to go back because I'm enjoying every phase of my life. And I feel this is the best and best is yet to come. So I would look forward for that.
It's getting very tough for me. Love it. I mean, I love the answer, very lovingly pointed out. I think living in the moment and having the best, and there's nothing you don't want to go back to but enjoy what you are. Great answer. Okay, some of our audience members watching us, because of course I'm having a tough time over here, let us have some answers in the comments out there from all of you as to who do you think really swept the rapid fire round, right? We'll wait for the answers. Let's see what's coming in, and we'll announce the winner. But the rule is that the hamper always belongs to the host, and our guests get all the appreciation and love from the audience members. So I hope they'll be gracious enough to pass on the hamper to me. But right now, along with your comments as to who do you think answered best, I would also want all of you to cast your questions in the comment box as you hear our experts talk to you. We have a dedicated Q&A interaction round towards the end of the webinar, as you know. So yes, what are the latest HR trends and practices? Let's find out. First up, let's invite and in fact talk in detail about our first guest. Everyone out there, as you know, Dr. Anusree P.S, who presently serves as the assistant professor in the domain of human resources. Dr. Anusree, would be great to see you right back on the screen, and you're going to just switch on your camera and we can see you right there. Thank you so much for joining again.
Thank you.
All right. And talking about you, Dr. Anusree, you have an industry experience of 3 years. If you talk about specifically in the areas of business development and you share advisory, how your research interest areas include the electronic waste management, environmental sustainability and conservation at the same time. And you've been awarded university scholarship in the year 2000, just very recently, 2018-19 for your research work. I think there's a lot to learn from you. And today you're going to focus, just for everybody's knowledge, she's going to talk about the changes in the work scenarios, the employee mindsets, and of course, the challenges for HR. So Dr. Anusree, we can't wait for you to present, and go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you very much for the kind words, Ms. Shikha. May I please share my presentation?
Please, we are all ears.
Thank you.
And yes, as Dr. Anusree is just about to set up the presentation desk, make sure you hear her very avidly so that you can ask the right questions. We are good to go, Dr. Anusree.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Shikha. Yeah. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Amma. A very warm good evening, one and all. Good evening to my fellow speakers, Ms. Shalu Priya, Senior HR Director, Optimix LLC. Ms. Sunanda Rao is the HR Head, WTI CABS. Also the moderator, Ms. Shikha Singh, all the technical members behind the program, and very especially all the participants here. Thank you very much for joining. And I hope all of you are safe and sound these times. And this session, I believe this session would be informative to all of you. So as we all know, we are now gradually, very slowly returning to normal. And in these times, there are many things that we need to understand or we need to focus on. So before we begin, I would like to ask a small little question, and that would be, how has the pandemic or the last 2 years of lockdown and things, how has it affected all of us? I would not want you to answer to that question, but I do understand you would have some or the other thoughts coming in your minds. All right. So these changes that we have seen in the last 2 years, it might be positive, it might be negative. Some of you might have to go through several things. But of course, when we look at it forward, when we look at what is going to happen forward, there are many things we need to understand, we need to look through. And hopefully this session would help you with that. Okay. So considering the workplaces or the places of employment, when we look at it, there are certain things. Importantly, one is developing and retaining the talent. The kind of environment that is created now, people, they work from home. People, they work from home, otherwise they work offline or in a hybrid mode. So in different scenarios, for the organization, for the companies, to bring in the right kind of atmosphere, the right environment where all of these employees are part of the organization, to put them together and to align them so that they are able to achieve the organizational objectives becomes really challenging. Because people, they might be from different geographic locations, they belong to different areas and different cultures. So bringing them all together, getting the proper group, a proper team formed, and helping that to achieve the objectives of the business, that becomes very crucial for organizations. And when we talk about the performance or the productivity, there is the KPI, which is the key performance indicators. That is a crucial area, because any task or any activity which is the responsibility of the employees, it is how they perform, it is how they are able to do their work which is given to them, and how they generate the proper results. So for organizations, getting the right mix of people, putting them to work, be it any mode of work, getting them to work along as a team, that is very, very important. So moving on, the next one would be about the employee experience. That is, we all know that when we join a company, we work for an organization, till the time we leave that organization, there is a tenure, there is going to be a journey. We start from point A, there is going to be several experiences, several job responsibilities that we may face each day. And at the end of it, there is going to be a learning, there is going to be a development of the potential, the employees. So understanding that sort of a scenario for the organization becomes important. They would have to put in the right efforts so that each and every employee that they have, they are able to come up with their skills, they're able to develop their potential in the works front, so that that is going to be beneficial for the organizations. For the managers who might be working with them, for the higher ups in the organization, it becomes important to provide the right leadership. It will give them an environment where these employees are able to come up with their best in whatever they do. When it When we talk about it in terms of the HR, it is more about the kind of support system that the HR teams and the executives they provide so that the employees feel comfortable and are able to give their best at their work. It also is about the engagement techniques, which is more about how much are these employees able to give to the organization, how they're able to perform, do their work, and how that is going to be resulting in the organizational goal achievements. We also have to consider the aspect of reskilling and upskilling. So we also know that the last 2 years, because of holidays and lockdowns, many of us, we have had the opportunity to be at home. And also with the other facilities, learning portals and things, there are so many of us who have had the opportunity to learn new skills. When it comes to organizations, they have been putting a lot of investments in developing the potential of the employees that would generate the right set of skills which will help these employees to perform better. That includes the aspect of reskilling and upskilling. Now, there is a difference here. Reskilling, which is about having the right skills to do one job and having some additional skills which will help you to perform a new occupation or a new job. For example, if a person is into accounts, he's handling the finance part of it, part of the job. And suppose he has the inclination towards some other aspect, which is also a part of the job, maybe something like a creative aspect, some designing thing. So if he has that potential, if he has that interest in that area, of course, learning a new skill will always be beneficial for the organization. So that is the aspect of reskilling. When it comes to upskilling, it is about increasing the potential in a current job. Suppose you're handling a particular role, you're into software, you're into some technical or analytics part in the organization. And if you are provided more information or new set of skills which will help you perform that job, you're only going to improve in that area. So that is the aspect of upskilling. So the time that you give to improve, to hone your skills, it will always be beneficial as an employee. It will be beneficial because you can do your work better. You can be very beneficial for the company or the organization that you're working for. Moving on, we cannot leave aside the aspect of technology, which is HR tech. With the advancement and technology, digitalization and things, any work area that you take, there is the concept of technology, the alignment with technology. It has helped in making things a lot more easier. It has reduced the burden on different sets of people. It has streamlined all the activities. So when it comes to HR, the application of technology, it will help further because the various processes in HR, you can consider recruitment, hiring, performance management, training, etc., etc. There is going to be a lot of time that is saved. For organizations, we do know that time is money. So making use of technology for conducting the various processes and procedures in the HR, it will also save time. It will increase the efficiency, the work output. There is going to be more use of technology. It will help in coming up with better results. Okay, so that would help the managers and the higher officials in the company to come up with the right decision making. It will help in the entire working or the operations in the organization. More to that is the aspect of shift to data literacy. That is the use of technology that we are trying to apply in HR. It can be beneficial, it can be useful only when the people who are using it, they are trained in it. Okay. That is, if you have a software, suppose you have a software installed for a particular thing, the people who are going to handle it in the organization, they need to be aware of how to use it properly, how to make the maximum use of the given software. And if there is the data, how to make use of the data, how to analyze the data, the employee data, the different records which might be generated, how to derive different information, and how to make it useful for the organization. With that, there are many other things that can also be possible. Like, for example, you have the HR forecasting. You have the data with you, with the organizational data, the employee data. You have the proper proof of performance. It will help you in deciding what is going to be the future as far as the employee or the workforce is concerned. That will in turn help the organization to build a proper competitive edge. They can be forward, they can be upfront as far as the other competitors are concerned. The picture here, it tells us about the use of data in different aspects for the HR, the use of records and things, and how that can be useful if you are able to perform a proper analytics, make use of the data that is collected, and come up with proper results and tests that will help in coming up with the proper results. It is for the benefit of the organization. Talking more about it is the concept of analytics, HR analytics, which is about combining the analytics with the processes in HR. Now, it is like a process where it begins with understanding what is a requirement from the organization point of view, that is the goals of the organization. The next would be about the metrics, identifying the metrics to be analyzed to achieve the goals. Suppose you have an objective. In order to reach to that objective or a target, you need to have a proper metrics which you can collect. After you collect that, you need to know how you would analyze that so that you are able to derive proper insights or results from it. And making use of that data, communicating it with the team, with the people who are working with you in the organization to come up with the proper results. This is a very important aspect today, HR analytics. It has been growing recently, and there is a lot of change that analytics have brought in many, many organizations, right? And talking about the shift in mindset of employees, that is, we do understand the kind of mental turmoil that all of us have gone through. There has been a lot of difficulties we have faced. Some of the people, like organizations and employees, they have gone through several difficulties like loss of jobs, difficulties in working from home, different things. There has also been a lot of positive changes because you do see people making use of the time that is given to them and coming up with more creative things in life, starting up something of their own, trying to find out if there is a opportunity somewhere which they can do and come up. So that sort of a positive and negative impact has happened in the last couple of years. Talking about the women employees, as we all know, even before the pandemic, even during the pandemic, even beyond that, we know that being a woman, it is challenging because no matter what the situation is, you got to balance home as well as your work. So that is a thing which we always have to have in mind, especially when we discuss it in a forum like this. The mental health, the condition of the employees, the psychological impacts, because coming back to the office spaces, it becomes difficult understanding the last 2 years where it has been difficult to work from home, coming back to offices and understanding, aligning with the requirements. It will take some time. So these are certain situations that the employees have to go through. And coming to the challenges for the HR, of course, the HR is always handling a very important and pivotal role in organizations because they are going to hold together the employees, the workforce for the organization. And in these challenging times, bringing the employees together, bringing a proper harmony between the employees, building the proper guidance, giving them the right guidance so that they are able to perform. There is a lot of clarity in their work that becomes very, very crucial. So it's a very challenging role for the HR. It is the responsibility of the HR, the employees in the HR team, to make sure that they are giving a right support system to the employees, understanding the psychological and other mindsets of the employees so that they are able to be more comfortable with whichever mode of work that they adopt, and they are able to perform very well for the benefit of the organization. So with that, that's an end of my presentation. I wish to thank Amrita University and Asianet News for this wonderful opportunity. And I believe the session has been of some use to all of you. Thank you very much once again. Namah Shivaya.
Dr. Anusree, thank you very, very much for sharing how vital is the role of an HR and of course other things that are entailed. Thank you very much for sharing your perspectives as well. And with that, we will have you right back in some time for the Q&A round interaction as well. Right now, it's time for me to invite our next guest and of course, talk about her in detail as well. Well, I'm going to be inviting Shalu Priya, who, as you know, is an HR leader who has helped companies to build high-performing teams across the globe by recruiting the best talent, developing programs to retain the top in-house talent, and building also very beautifully a sustainable culture. Well, to talk about Shalu, she holds a master's in IT from Manipal. And Shalu, you know what's very fascinating to know about you is that yes, you are a certified emotional intelligence specialist. So I think it would be so worthy to hear your insights. And now I know, as you said, that you would, rather read a book if you want to bust the stress. I'm sure it's a proven technique that way. And today we're going to be learning from you about learning, about culture, and about employee well-being. If you're all set, we are ready to hand over the strings of the conversation to you.
Thanks a lot, Shikha. Thank you so much. And a warm evening to all the audience. Hello, everyone. What a good way to start the week. No Monday blues. And, we are exchanging our insights here in this forum. I would like to thank Asianet News and Amrita School of Business for hosting this webinar and inviting me and other guests to share the thoughts that we have. And thank you for being lovely audience for hearing us out. And I'm sure all of us, including myself, we are going to have a good learning from this webinar. Dr. Anusree shared great insights about the changes in workstation, shift in employee mindset, and challenges for HR. We all live in a world that is volatile and uncertain. And in the last couple of years, one function that has seen an especially dramatic shift in purpose and processes is HR. Our list of responsibilities goes way beyond arranging benefits and events, having tough conversations about employee behavior or performance. As HR, we must ensure our employees know that we care about them as human, and by focusing a good portion of our efforts on facilitating and engaging high-performing and fulfilling company culture. As an HR leader, I truly believe that sustainable culture, employee well-being, and personalized learning is the way forward. And it would fit all work model, be it remote, hybrid, or when we are back to offices. So we must focus on our culture, employee well-being, and personalized learning for all. It is important for companies to have a culture that everybody can relate to. It's been proven that businesses with a strong culture are more likely to be successful as compared to the ones that don't consider it important. So personally and professionally, we all need to have a higher purpose, which is an inspirational goal that articulates the reason for being in business and clarifies the organization and people believe in. It is important for everybody in the organization to know why do we exist, what do we do, and how will we succeed. These three questions we must ask to ourselves, and organizations should also be in a position to provide clarity and alignment around these questions. It will be key to success for organization to connect its people with higher purpose backed by the right set of values that can relate to and creates clarity and bringing alignment. You all would agree that a strong culture is the first critical element to remain resilient. In last 2 years, we have seen how the world has changed. Overnight, we had to make arrangements to go remote. I mean, most of the companies and also educational institutes opted for a virtual setup. And if we do not have a right culture, that is actually uh, the foundation of anybody to succeed. We cannot be as productive as we are today. So it is important that our people know the value of the organization and they can live that day in and day out. So first one, I think, is culture, that every organization must ensure that they have right set of behavioral aspects defined where people can relate to, and also they know that how we all behave and how together we will succeed. Next important area for HR is to work upon is employee well-being, which is, I'm sure all of us hear about employee well-being a lot. And many a times I see that it is related to mental and physical wellness. But the need to meet employees' diverse expectation is pressing, especially as organizations reinvent themselves for a new era. Improving the employee experience is the number one priority for HR leaders than ever before. If you look at the reports, it says that only 4% of HR teams believe they provide a superior employee experience today. So where do we lack? We fail to understand the psychology of our people, what exactly they would need. And we cannot have one single yardstick to provide that. We have to go into the details. We have to have a lot of conversation with our people, our employees. Today, employee well-being has expanded beyond physical well-being to focus on building a culture of holistic well-being, including physical, emotional, financial, social, career, community, and purpose. So there are 7 different areas that we have to really ensure that our people are heard and we have given them enough time. I remember my conversation with a close friend and colleague who earns well, has a loving and caring family, and is a socialite. I was surprised when he said that I'm happy with what I have achieved in my life, but I feel something is still missing. And after a lot of probing, I could make out that the missing block was purpose of life. Hence, it is important for HR to cover all nine yards of well-being, where we understand they are physically fit, mentally they are challenged, emotionally they are taken care, their finances are well secure, and they have a good career with us. We provide a purpose to their life, and it cannot happen overnight. We have to spend a lot of time with them, and we have to understand that what is that missing block in each one's life. Last year, we built a brand new team within HR that focuses only on total well-being of our people, and people value the efforts being put by this team, who ensures that everybody feels they have a go-to person and they will be heard without any biases. So it is important for companies to provide a system where they know, irrespective of where they are, which part of the country they have their home offices, they know that there is a person I can always talk to, and I can share what I'm going through, be it my emotional well-being or be it financial or social or career. Anything that is bothering me or causing stress to my life, I should go and talk to this person. And I think this is going to be another key ingredient for companies to adopt. But now there is an important question: is culture and well-being enough to remain resilient? Maybe not. Culture and well-being have to be well supported by personalized and curated learning. We all know one size doesn't fit to all. We must develop and provide customized learning experience to our people to perform and grow. And when I say perform and grow, it should fit into any kind of work environment. It doesn't have to be in office. It could be in hybrid model as well. Learning has to be well integrated with performance management system, and companies must define competencies that has utmost clarity and transparency. OKR, which is objectives and key results, should drive the learning, and the real-time feedback should be used as inputs. I see annual appraisals do take place, but they are not effective anymore. And it is a constant feedback that keep people uh, updated about where they are, if they have to go to the next stage or the next phase of their career, what it takes to go there. So it is important that we provide them a customized, a personalized learning experience when they are with us. If we as HR work towards culture, employee well-being, and personalized learning, it would help business to sustain and grow, irrespective of we are in a pandemic situation, we are in a healthy economic environment, or whatsoever it is. But culture, employee well-being, and personalized learning is these are few things that HR must focus on. And with that, I would like to thank all the lovely audience to spend this evening here on the webinar. And over to you, Sika. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shalu. That was precise and just stated the right points that we need to be cognizant of. We'll have you in a bit for the Q&A round, Shalu, but right now I'm just going to urge all our young audience members to make sure that they utilize this very curated opportunity of asking the experts the questions based on whatever they're hearing or anything that comes to their mind, because it is not every day that these experts would be talking to you live. So make sure you encash on this opportunity, right? Shalu, thank you to you once again. And with that, it's time that for a detailed chat, we invite our final guest of the evening. But right before that, we are going to speak about her as she appears, of course, always with the warmest smile on the screen. Miss Sunanda Rao. Sunanda, we know that you're heading HR for Wise Travel India, which lists India's top 5 mobility service providers, if I'm not wrong, right? All right. And you're also the conceiver of Career Beacon, that is a bi-monthly magazine that combines jobs and careers. So I think this is insightful for our folks hearing us out right now. And you're one of the rarest backward integration combinations of HR and career coaching when we talk about. You're passionate about skilling. We spoke about skilling also the other day in our webinar as well, Sunanda, and you exist in 2 versions. So I would like to reiterate and tell all our new audience members today as well that as Sunanda 1.0, she is skilled as a human resource personnel, worked with multinationals and logistics industry. And as version 2.0, she skilled students and teachers who work with educational institutions. Well, today Sunanda is going to take like some heavy duties of talking about talent war and diversity, inclusion and equity, what organizations look at while hiring talent. So eyes on the prize, Sunanda, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Shikha, and thank you for the lovely introduction. People would always think of why do I have 2 versions, because I always believe version none is better than, version 1 is better than version none, and version 2 is always better than version 1. So with this, as Dr. Anusree has already spoken about the challenges of HR, what has to be there in the HR. She spoke about every aspect of HR, followed by my fellow speaker, Ms. Shalu, who actually spoke about the well-being and culture elements, everything. Now here, since we have young, students who are listening to us and the people, and as you have already said that, yes, I'm passionate about the careers and I believe that passion drives your career. There's one thing that I would like to tell all the young fellow people who are actually listening to us at this webinar right now. There is a good news and there is a bad news. The good news is the top 3 sectors are expected to ramp up their hiring in 2022. That means automobile, IT, ITES, and internet business is going to have a boom. So if you're making a head through for the campus interviews, please ensure that you do not miss the opportunity of automobile, IT, ITES, and internet business. That's number 1. Secondly, to specially mention the hiring activity of the gross global in-house centers in India are expected to post 31% growth in 2022 as compared to 27% growth in 2021. So the MBAs, the BBAs who are looking for the jobs, the very good news is in 2022, professionals in a experience range of 1 to 5 are going to experience a surge in the demand across the industries, followed by the freshers. Believe me, this is what is happening with me right now when I am recruiting for Aweg as well as for the Vice Travel India, as we are having major expansion plan. Believe me, I'm looking for only the management trainees and the freshers because they come with the open mind. It's not that people like experienced who are not there, but they are there as a strategic role, and the freshers are the people who can implement them. So having said this, more than 56% of the new hires in 2022 are going to be the early career professional. That means someone who is having 0 to 5 years of experience. So this is a good news for you. With that, also, I would like to tell you that nearly 47% are going to come from non-tier 1 cities. So people who feel that Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai are the places where you will have the job hubs. Believe me, people who are coming from tier 2 are the people who are going to have a better edge on that. Now, with this, the future of India Inc. in 2022 looks really bright as we are going to increase by 34% over 2020 and 31% over 2022. Now, with this, we had also had some of the ongoing crashes and the dips. That is, we have seen some of the obstacles in the form of ongoing tech talent crunch. Believe me, I have more than 75 openings as of now in the organization, and my entire team is working on the recruitment. Still, we are not able to find the gap or fill the gap because the talent crunch, whichever is available, there is either a skill gap or the great resignation that we have seen. And we have bounced very stronger in most of the sectors and a greater appetite for hiring in 2022. Now, with this, before the COVID-19, we can see that there was a talent war was there. Skilled employees in many businesses were required, but there is always a skill gap, what is required by the organization and what is present in the organization. But due to the pandemic, everything has changed. Now here, my friends, the young friends who are listening to us right now, though the vaccines have already rolled out, the things are coming to the normalcy, but still a talent war is still there. And the pandemic has caused such an unprecedented wave of tech adoption for the businesses across the country and across the industry that work remotely, connecting with the customers virtually, essentially crammed the decades worth and the tech adoption. As my friend Shalu has already said that, 4% of the people, they feel that they are getting the employee well-being, not others. Having said this, I'm sure I'm going to back up her statement with next statement that many of the companies, 60% of the companies have already opened their work from anywhere policy. Because now we can see when people are coming to us, they are saying, okay, we would like to have work from home instead of work from office. Whereas some of the businesses like mobility services that we are into, we cannot work from home, though there are people who are working in the satellite offices. Now, having said this, when the satellite offices are coming, the role of HR is growing to a great extent. Shalu has already shared a great insights that, you have to be emotionally connected with the people. You need to assure the person that, yes, you are with you no matter whatever it is there. Maybe it financially, maybe in mental health well-being or physical health-being. That is something that is required. Now, with this, the second question that is coming to us is, now when employees are having, a switchover thing, whenever they're looking for the new jobs, and this is what you're, as a young professional, you should also be looking, my dear friends, that you interrupt your own biases. Do not go by the, for the book by the cover. Go through the organization, go through the website, go through the Glassdoor, go through the Naukri.com, go through the LinkedIn, how posts are actually giving you a complete thing. Beware about the company culture so that you understand that whether you are a fit or a non-fit for that. Know what, as an organization, we should know to whom are we attracting? And most important is inclusive knowledge in the job description. And I take a privilege to share right now that tomorrow we are going to have the first transgender employee joining us in Wise Travel, and she would be a part of HR team. Now, with this, diversify your business, have a diversity in the thing, have people who are from all the classes. Do not only have the stigma of having male, female, you can have the transgenders. And we have seen in the last 1 week that Tata's as well as L&T have hired transgenders to the organization. Pernod Ricard has recently hired a CHRO who is a transgender. That means everyone, now every CEO's one checklist is that we should have inclusiveness, equity, and diversity. So young chaps who are going to apply for the MBAs and are going to have it in the campus interviews, please ensure that you read through the complete culture of the organization before you go and take the next job. Because reimagining a organization post-pandemic is a very careful attention to affect the choices of the organizational norms. And believe me, HR is having the most toughest time at this moment of time. One, because of the talent crunch. Second, upskilling of the people. As Shalu has said, emotional balance. As Dr. Anusree has said about the data, right? That how people have to be equipped with the data. So with this, Shikha, I would like to tell you that we need to pay heed aspects to own leadership, what are in the leadership and what are in the manager role. And every manager and the leader have to be sensitized for a diversified work culture, including work from home and work from office.
Sunanda, firstly, even before saying thank you to you, I would like to mention, of course, as we all were hearing you, about how you said and mentioned that WTI Cabs is hiring its first transgender employee, and that way, I think that's such a thoughtful move there. So congratulations on that bit, and all the pointers that you mentioned that we need to take care of in your very inclusive talk, I must say. And with that, we'll just invite you right back on the screen. But right now, just urging everyone, because this is your final chance to put in whatever questions you've heard all our three special guests for the webinar, and I'm going to rope them one by one right on the screen right now. And in the meanwhile, if there's any question that strikes your mind, please feel free to pour it in the comment box. We just have the last few minutes to address all of them. So all right, inviting back on the screen Dr. Anusree P.S, if you can please join us along with Shalu, Priya, and Ms. Sunanda Rao. So it's the power of trio that I was talking about as we welcomed our three lady guests on the virtual stage today. Thank you for coming back right on the screen. And with that, we'll delve straight into the Q&A round. Now, the first question that has come to us, allow me a second to scan through. All right, that is for Dr. Anusree, who spoke about HR tech very fascinatingly. So our viewer is asking, has technology helped or impacted the work of an HR at an organization? I guess yes.
Yes.
Well, definitely. May I answer that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, there is a definite impact of technology on the HR front, as we do understand different practices and different roles that the HR has. The collaboration of technology for the various processes has helped to improve upon the situation. But yes, on the other side of it, the other side of the coin, we should be prepared to use the technology, should be aware. The HR person should be aware of how to use it so that the maximum benefit can be derived. Yeah.
All right, great. So that was slick and effective as an answer. I'm going to take up the next question, and I'll want all our guests to quickly put in their 2 cents on this one. So with a lot of companies adopting a work from home or hybrid model, as we were talking about, how difficult has it become for HRs to keep their employees motivated? This is, I'm sure, a constant question on the employee motivation front, but with the new shift, the new model that we're witnessing, how does it look like? Let's start with Shalu, you first this time.
Okay. So Shikha, if you see, now we have at least 350 offices or 400 offices, because people are working remotely, right? As a HR, definitely we are finding a hard time connecting up with all 400 people in different places. However, I mean, technology have come handy in hosting many hybrid events where we include them, and people who are not coming to office. I mean, because our offices are open, but people, they opt to work from home, right? So in such scenario, we also have hybrid events, and we connect with people who are even in their farm, and they have opted to work from there. If they have right connectivity, they can dial in. We have nice events happening where it is all online, and at the same time we have actually now got used to of multiple platforms, which provides you an opportunity to connect with people who are in different parts of the country, and conduct surveys, conduct quiz, or ask them to participate in any of the event. So definitely it's learning for us, and it's quite interesting that how quickly we have evolved. So
All right, so evolution at its best. We are adapting and it's going good. Shalu says, Sunanda, your 2 cents as well.
Thank you so much. Shalu has already put complete
Yes.
context on that, but I would like to give you a flip side of it. The flip side of it is there are two communities now in the organization. There are two sets of islands. One is work from home, one is work from office. Now, the greatest, for the HR, the dilemma is the people who are working from home, they will have gas, they'll have the pressure cooker, they'll have the ferry walas who are going around, and there is a noise during the meeting. And HR has to actually do the hygiene work. That's number one, as Pratik was doing a bit before, that voice and everything. And secondly, the second part of the thing is people who are at work, who are working from home, they are not realizing that people who are sitting in the office are working on the operational things. So the petty things, for example, I need a piece of paper, I need an invoice, I need to go to marketing department, or I need to go to a branding department, or say to the finance. What will happen is I can just get up from my seat and can walk through that cabin. Whereas when a work from home is happening, what is happening is we have to first check whether the person is there. Is he comfortable to talk or not? Of course, we cannot expect during the work from home, the person is glued to the seat and is only taking care of the laptop and he's seeing that my boss is going to call or somebody is going to call. Now, with these two islands, what happens is the bridge has to be mapped. And this is an opportunity for us to fashion the hybrid virtual model, which Shalu has just mentioned, which best every company as per their customized need. Like for example, on 19th, we had the induction, new employee induction, as well as the town hall on the same day, and it was on the virtual mode. Believe me, most of the time, people were asking, am I audible? Though we were in the Google Meet. So these are the technical features which are there. And it also gives a birth to a new shared culture of our employee that provides the stability, social cohesion, identity, and belongingness, whether employees are working remotely or on the office premises or in both of the combination.
Very realistic take, Sunanda. Dr. Anusree, how about you?
Just to add on to what Ms. Shalu and Ms. Sunanda just said, the psychological or the mental situation of the employees is something that we cannot leave aside, because working from home or working at the office from the proper workplace, getting people to be in the right mindset, to forget the difficulties, keep it aside and focus on the work so that they're able to be more productive for the organization is a thing that the HR has to consider. That is one thing that I think should be considered. Thank you.
All right, great. So of course, a lot of questions around this model of working is what I'm sort of figuring out. I'm going to take up this one specific one that has come for you, Sunanda. But right before that, okay, this one, if all of you can quickly share, does the work from home model help recruiters to get the best talent for their organization with location not being an issue? You're free to choose in which order you want to go.
Okay, I'm in the same ball game right now. And believe me, when
Okay.
I'm giving a call to the candidates, because as you know, WTI is expanding and we are the, in one of the top five, mobility providers. Now
Right.
we are coming up with a project called WTI 365. That means now WTI would be present in every 100 kilometers of the country's map. Now, believe me, when I am piloting for the southern branch with the southern head, we are facing a bit time problem because most of the people are saying, is it work from office or work from home? Okay, so Bangalore, no, we are not going to join. If it's Coimbatore, no, we are not going to join. Now I have to persuade all the management school, give me a people who are from the local basis because now people are so,
Particular about
habitual
this.
no habitual about working from home,
Yes.
as the Newton's third law of
Precisely.
saying that if you are in the constant in one position, you need an external force to actually move you. So same thing is happening. People are so comfortable with the work from home
Yeah.
option that they are taking a chances of, if it's work from home, I'm better. So
So
that's where.
that's the primary, determinant that way, right? Okay. Okay. Dr. Anusree, anything else that you've noticed with respect to this question, or?
That also is one point which is important here.
Mhm.
The person who is going to hire the HR personnel, he should have that ability to really scan through the candidate and understand the subtle requirements which would be applicable once the person is going to be on job. That is important. And bringing out the best, that is about the leadership quality, bring out the best in the employee. That is the thing. Thank
I
you.
think very, very beautifully said. Shalu, what's going on in your mind?
Well, I see it as advantage and disadvantage both because definitely talent pool have increased. I mean, we can talk to a person who is in NCR, for a job which is in Bangalore, and there is no, relocation involved, right? So people can work from anywhere. But at the same time, competition have become tougher, right? I mean, we see that most of the companies have gone, pan India hiring, and we are seeing, that is actually not being used rightly with the candidates, right? I mean, they explore opportunities. We see a lot of efforts would go waste. They have multiple offers. They drop, offers because of the location, as Sunanda said, or at time compensation, right? So it is advantage and disadvantage both, I would say. And there are few, I mean, job areas which cannot be remote, right? We must do that in office premises because maybe for now we have made arrangements, but we also know somewhere in our heart that that cannot be remote always. For an example, jobs that is in production support, right? They have to be in office because there are sensitive data that they are going to handle, right? And for such job they have to be back in office, if not now, maybe later. So definitely it's advantage, but at the same time we have to see the flip side of it as well.
Makes sense, Shalu. Okay. Sunanda, you want to quickly say something on this? Looks like.
Yes, the
Yeah.
biggest flip side of this work
Mhm.
from home is people are moonlighting, and this has evidently come in front. In
Okay.
fact, in our organization also, that a person has joined during the pandemic and he was moonlighting with two organizations. This thing has revealed only when the CEO of our organization spoke to the another organization, and of course, he lost the job at both the places. And recently, we have seen in one of the news, that one employee was moonlighting in 7 organizations during the pandemic. So the biggest flip side of this, work from home is that people can take the advantage of this, and we do not have much of the control.
All right. All right. So pros and cons there. I'm going to take up very quickly the final two questions. Look like considering the time that we have in hand. So our guests will request you to very crisply address these. Now, these are touching on the other aspects. Sunanda, you spoke about the talent war being at peak right now. So you want to quickly elaborate, and we'll take, of course, the perspectives of our other two guests as well. Do you feel this has largely been the case due to COVID-19 pandemic? One of our audience is asking, audience member.
Okay, well, Shikha, I would not say the talent war was going before that also, and many of the industry were directly, indirectly were impacted in 2020. So with this, the talent war has actually increased to a great extent. Reason being, now we can see that people are obviously there are few people who are jobless, who have not got the job from last 24 months. Ever since the pandemic has hit, there were people who have made a switch over in 2020 January, and soon after the pandemic, the organization, since they have hired them newly, so they are the people who are victimized first. So we can see that there are multiple people who are jobless, who are talented. Now the stigma is, if a person has left a job at 50 lakh during January 2020, he's expecting the same. Whereas now the organizations are becoming smart and they are making a compensation offer in such a manner. Okay, you prove for 6 months, then you get to the next lab. Otherwise, you are in half of the thing. So now what is happening is, people who are already at say 50 lakhs and coming at 25 lakhs, people who are at 23 are bagging for 25. Now organization would look like, okay, 20 years of experience coming for such a low cost, vis-a-vis to 5 years experience coming to. So we can see that the talent war is happening. And in result, it's like, two monkeys fighting and two cats fighting and monkey takes the bite. So that is what is happening. At the same time, two organizations, now that they know that yes, talent is available, they're trying to squeeze that. And most often, these talents who are coming back to the organization, they will stick for a lesser time and they will move on. So this is my submission to it.
Great point. We'll just complete the perspective from the industry side. So Shalu, I'll ask you to quickly delve into this one.
So what Sunanda said, I will echo her that, that there are people who are jobless, but at the same time, there are people with multiple offers. And I think talent war was always there because economy was doing
That's so
well
true.
and the captives were coming, the startups are getting, funded. But I think in all this, if you see, the advantage is with all the, fresh college graduates, because now companies have, if you see the trend, the mix that used to be between lateral and freshers, I mean, that has gone higher in last couple of years. And in fact, in my organization, we are hiring a lot of freshers. We want them to go through training and actually end this talent war, because we have enough young college graduates available and they need to show their talent as well.
All right, great. I'm going to wind up. Of course, Dr. Anusree, we'll take your perspectives on this one because you represent the academia, but we'll wind up this question with you answering the same as well, which is the next one. With HRs looking to hire fresh minds post-COVID, what kind of skills should aspiring employees equip with? You can just give us those bullet pointers right now. And Shalu, of course, Sunanda, your takes being recorded well. Dr. Anusree, over to you.
See, when you're focusing on the freshers who are ready, super ready to join, to take on organizations, it is very essential, the basic management skills, because when you're entering industry, you need to know how to be with people, be along with people, and how to get your work done, and you support the others who are working along with you. So that group building, working, being able to put your best in whatever work, your responsibilities, that is more important, and working along with the proper leader, it is very essential, because that will pave the way for a very bright future ahead.
Great. Thank you so much. Answered it succinctly. And I have to firstly thank the three of you for allaying a lot of fears that, we carry around with the evolving HR trends and, how does it going to look like? So thank you for sharing what really goes behind the scenes and, getting into the minds there. So thanks for joining, and thank you for sharing all the perspectives that your rich expertise sort of carries. So thank you again.
Thank you, Shikha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a
Thank
lot.
you, everyone.
Wish you a very, very good week ahead, I should say, for sure. And right now, okay, there's some more questions coming in, but right now we really got to wrap up. So, of course, having said thank you to all our guests right now, it's the time for me to actually say thank you to all of you from Asianet News and Amrita School of Business. I'm going to thank all of you for being participative and joining us, really. We're going to be streaming more experiential content for all of you there. But right now, all I have to say is, of course, as our guest, Shalu and Dr. Anusree as well, take the backstage. and go off camera right now. As I can see, I'm gonna definitely not miss on this one when we are going to be building up on more content. And I have to ask all of you, please do not hesitate to get more of your colleagues along with you yourself to join our next webinar, because these are specially curated, keeping in mind your well-being in terms of every aspect, every topic that we can sort of cover with the time we have. And they say the more the merrier, right? So block your calendars right away for the next one, where we will get talking about the healthcare market and the health policies in India, something again that's inevitable to discuss right that way. So block the calendars on the 4th of March and stay tuned with all the happenings. Thank you very much. And I hope learnings being well taken. Do share your perspectives, do tweet about it, and stay good, stay healthy. Thank you so much.